Good morning to everybody, and I'll call this meeting to order, the meeting of the Academic Affairs, Student Life, and Athletics Committee. Welcome to everyone again, and thank you for being in attendance. We have an interesting meeting today, as always. We have 4 action items and 1 informational item, and all of you have your materials in front of you, and within each of those there are some components, but the meeting's allocated for an hour, and we have other committee meetings today, so we'll address other business after the agenda. We cover the agenda if anybody else has other business. So, Mr. President, do you have any opening remarks?
No, Madam Chair, just good morning.
Okay, thank you. And good morning to you. Roll call, please.
Yes. Trustee Baker?
Here.
Trustee DeLay?
Here.
Trustee Jacobs?
Here.
Trustee Johnston?
Here.
Trustee Smith?
That's Smith. Here. I can't hear thunder.
Trustee Wright?
Here.
General Huber?
Here.
Mr. Massaro?
Here.
Trustee Tracy? Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Very good. All right, first item of business will be approval of the minutes. Everybody's had a chance to review those when you got your materials. So do I hear a motion for approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. The minutes have been adopted. The second item of business today is rule promulgation and related policy revision, and we have a couple of items under that. These are action items. Are we going, do you recommend we vote on those separately?
Yes, we need to because we need to take a roll call vote for each one.
Okay, all right. So Ms. Zimmerman and Cheryl Torsen
Yes.
going to present?
I will be glad to start the comment section, and if anyone has questions, I think they're better responded to by our Vice Provost. But academic misconduct is a policy here at the university, and we are required by statute to promulgate a rule on this as well. There have been some revisions made to our policy. Vice Provost Torsney has spent many hours with faculty working on a process to best address this issue, and those revisions and the policy is before you. The rule to be promulgated is consistent with that policy. So if there are any questions or additional comments.
Yes.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl Torsney, the Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs. Thank you for considering this policy. One of my first assignments when I came to MTSU in late summer 2017 was to help revise Policy 312, academic misconduct, and to hire a director for that office. Let me introduce Michael Bailey, who is sitting here also. He is an MTSU alum. He served also before he came back to MTSU as Assistant Director for Student Conduct at Texas Tech University. He joined MTSU in November of 2017 and has been leading the charge to improve the academic misconduct policy ever since. He collaborates with Student Affairs with a letter going out from him to students at Customs emphasizing the importance of academic integrity. He offers numerous workshops for faculty on how to create conditions that do not invite academic misconduct, and the numbers tell how effective he has been. So when he arrived in fall 2017, we had 121 total cases. Spring 2018, 122 total cases. After he'd been at MTSU for a year, here are the numbers. Fall 2018, 79 total cases. Spring 2019 through March 18th, 31 cases. So that's a decrease of about 45%, almost half. He has done a great job. He also helped me to lead the adoption of Maxient, a national leader in student misconduct software. We had been using a software that had long ceased being supported. So this was a very positive development. During the course of the 2017-18 academic year, A diverse committee led by faculty senator and professor of biology, Andrew Brower, and I worked to revise Policy 312, academic misconduct. You have the changes. The biggest changes in the new policy have to do with what happens when the student meets with the Director of Academic Integrity. In the past, the person in that position, in Mr. Bailey's position, could adjudicate the case if the student did not accept responsibility. This revision puts that adjudication back in the hands of a faculty committee. Accused students may present their case, and faculty, in turn, may present theirs. This new policy also makes provisions for graduate students who are found responsible, and the possibility of expulsion for graduate students is now in policy. Those are the major changes. I am happy to entertain questions.
Well, curiosity, what do you attribute cases, the decrease in cases?
The decrease in cases, Mr. Bailey has been educating faculty on how to create assignments that do not invite academic misconduct. He has been talking about how to appropriately use Turnitin, which is another piece of software. And students have been educated from the get-go that whatever they did in high school, plagiarism will not fly here.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Anything else? Then thank you very much.
Okay. Can I entertain a motion to, for the rule promulgation and related policy revision of academic misconduct?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And we will do a roll call vote.
Yes. Trustee Baker,
Yes.
Trustee DeLay,
Yes.
Trustee Jacobs,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yay.
Trustee Smith,
Yes,
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
Madam Chair, we have 6 ayes and no noes.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously. And we will talk about rule promulgation for residency classification, and who is presenter for that?
Well, again, I can start that off, and Vice President Sells and her folks may have some comments that they want to make or explanations to give. But essentially, this is another area where we have a university policy and are also required to promulgate a rule. And so our policy was revised to update it, and then our rule came forth from that policy and have consistent provisions to it.
Okay. Any,
There are no substantial changes. Really, we just tried to simplify it to the extent that we could and make sure that we have incorporated all of the policy changes related to veterans in this policy.
okay,
Madam Chair, I'd just like to add that this is a policy that tends to give us fits, particularly as relates to students coming from out of state and wanting to get in-state tuition. So it's very important that we have a clear policy that outlines the requirements, the state law with regards to residency. It's a very critical policy for us to have in place.
thank you. Can I entertain a motion?
could I have one?
Okay, oh, discussion first? Sure.
No, it's fine. General Huber, a lot of this, or the veterans' concerns are mentioned a number of times. Are you satisfied with the changes help you accomplish our goal?
No, absolutely, Chairman Smith, and Dr. Miller and Dr. Sells have been tireless in their accuracy to ensure that. I mean, this is one of the great things that this university does for our veterans and their family members that other universities claim to make exceptions, but this is our rule. So I'm very satisfied with what policy change.
Okay. Is there a motion for rule promulgation and related policy revision for residency classification?
So moved.
Right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, we'll take a roll. Oh, any discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, we'll take a roll call vote.
Trustee Baker,
Yes.
Trustee DeLay,
Yes.
Trustee Jacobs,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Smith,
Yes.
Trustee Wright.
Yes.
We have, again, 6 ayes and no votes.
All right, it passes unanimously. And we will now move to the third agenda item, third tab, approval of academic program modifications, also an action item, and our provost will present.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We have several curricular items for you this morning, the first of which is to elevate the Master of Education degree in professional counseling that we currently have to an EDS, or Specialist in Education in Professional Counseling degree. The program is not changing. The curriculum is not changing. What happened is that the accrediting body for this degree mandated some time back that instead of being a master's degree, which is typically 30 to 36 hours, that 60 hours would be required, in their view, for this to be a legitimate degree. And, you know, when the accrediting body says jump, we say how high. And so we changed it to 60 degrees. 60 hours, not 60 degrees. Although it is a very cool degree. Sorry. I totally distracted myself.
He'll be here all week.
What we want to do to be more student-friendly is to elevate this degree to an EDS, which typically is 60 hours. And for those systems, these are primarily folks who are working as school counselors. And even though the state unfortunately changed its law about mandating systems to pay their personnel for earning advanced degrees, there are still some who do it. Rutherford County does it. I think Williamson probably does it. And so the EDS is a higher degree than a master's, and so it's advantageous both in terms of prestige, but also in terms of, possibly in terms of salary for folks working out in the school systems. So that's that proposal. Pam, do you want me to go on or answer questions at this point? Keep going?
Well, a question maybe.
Okay.
How many people, do you know, are in the program
Let me look at Peter for that.
approximately?
You have no one to look at, Peter, so.
There are probably roughly 30 students, 30 graduate students in both concentrations, 30 in the school counseling program and then a like number in the professional counseling concentration.
Okay.
So I would say somewhere between 50 and 60
Yeah.
students.
So it's a pretty healthy
Yeah.
population.
Anybody have any questions regarding this item before we move to the second? Okay.
Okay. The second program modification we're requesting is changing our MS in Public Health to an MPH, Masters of Public Health. This degree has actually been evolving for a while. You know, we're constantly looking at our curriculum, trying to keep up with national trends. So this used to be an MS in Health and Human Performance. We've changed the name of that degree, which we can do here on campus, to an MS in Public Health, and that actually becomes effective this fall. What we would like to do is change the degree designation, that is the type of degree, from an MS to an MPH. It's a much more nationally recognized degree. Again, the curriculum is already in place. It's not as if we're starting from scratch on the curriculum. It's to benefit our students, frankly, and MPH is the national standard, and therefore we're coming forward with this request. This degree designation change requires the approval of THEC, unlike the name change. And obviously, before we take anything to THEC, we bring it to our board. So we ask for your support of that.
Right. Any questions for Provost Burns? We'll take discussion before entertaining a motion.
I will, if it makes any difference to the board, I do hold an MPH rather than an MS in public health, and I went to the University of Florida to get it. Had I been able to study here in the state, I would have done that. So it's going to be nice to have this here.
That's interesting information. Thank you. All right, any comments? I'll entertain a motion then for the approval of the change of these, well, or should we do them separately, the two programs, the vote
If
separately?
you wish, but you can do them together.
Okay, we'll do it together. And can I entertain a motion for the approval of the academic program modifications for both programs discussed by Provost Burns?
So moved.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Oh, do we need a roll call vote?
No, this is just a
Okay,
voice vote.
okay. All in favor, aye, and any opposed? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. We will now move to the approval of the academic degree under consideration, and we have 3 degrees. And Heidi, voting on those together is acceptable also?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
discuss all of
Thank you, Ms.
this.
Wright. As you know, before we go too far in thinking about a new degree, we come to you and ask for your approval. And so today we have 3 degrees that we wish to pursue that we'd like to tell you about. First is an MS in Speech Language Pathology. One of our strong undergraduate programs for years has been our program in this area. We have I hope you know, a speech clinic here on campus where members of the community will bring their children to help with any sort of speech language disorder. So we have a really fine bachelor's degree already, and it's been there for years. What we've not had is a master's degree, and a master's is required to be licensed professionally. So in the past, we've had to tell our students, look, you've done a great job here, but you're going to have to go somewhere else to get your master's, to be licensed to work in the field. So we want to change that. We want to keep those students here. Assuming you approve and we go through the process, we'll give you a feasibility study that I think will reflect great demand for this. So we're pretty excited about that proposal. Glad to answer any questions on that one. Or
It doesn't require any, expenditure or,
no, sir. We've got some great faculty members in place. They'll do it within existing resources. Unless it explodes, in that case, we'll staff it as we need to. Next is an MS in Biomedical Sciences. And this is a degree, all of these degrees are, we think, vocational related. Now, you've got to be careful when we talk about vocation because a university is more than that. But we're sensitive to the political climate that we're in, and we want our students to be employed, obviously. This is a degree primarily for students interested in entering the health fields. Often what will happen is a student who wants to go to medical school or dental school will graduate, perhaps not with all the courses he or she needs to go on to be admitted and go on to professional study. Or you have students who majored in something not really that related to the health field and decided, as some students do after the end of their bachelor's degree, I think I want to be a doctor or a nurse or dentist, whatever. So this degree fills that need, and the need for students who need additional training in the health field before they move on to professional work. And then finally, we have the MPH a degree here as well, and I already explained what this is all about. We're including the MPH in this section just in case THEC says, no, we're not going to let you change the degree designation on your own. We've gotten some hints from the academic staff at THEC that they think, we might want you to do a whole new program proposal, which is a lot of paperwork, frankly, and it's important stuff. So this is our fallback position. If THEC says, yes, we'll let you change the designation, great, that's our preference. We think policy allows that. They have some questions about it, and they're the ones who get to decide. So if they say no, then we're going to have to go through this additional step, and that's really what this last item is about, if it's our fallback position, if THEC demands that we, or suggests that we do a full program proposal. That's it.
Okay.
Be glad to answer any questions.
Any discussion on those 3 academic degree items? All right, it's exciting to see new things added.
It is.
It is. It's great for all of us. So can I entertain a motion on the approval of the academic degrees under consideration?
So moved, Mr.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right. And all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. All right, unanimously again. All right, now we've finished our action items. We're information items, so the notification of academic actions. You're going to discuss that
Yes,
also?
ma'am. So in addition to adding degrees, we are constantly looking at degrees that need to be pruned away from our program, and that's really what's happening in these notifications. First, we're combining the MST, Masters of Science in Teaching in Mathematics, with the MS in Mathematics. The numbers were just not robust, and in addition to getting potentially in trouble with THEC, it just administratively makes more sense to have one more vibrant degree, more highly enrolled degree than 2 that were marginal. So it's really an efficiency measure, and also we think will help us with SACS when SACS comes around in a few years. That's the first.
So how many?
Yes, sir.
How many students will be in the combined?
Oh, gosh. And we did look at that just the other day. There's literally single digits in both of those, right, Peter?
No, in the
In the MST?
in the MST, but not in the MS.
Okay. So the MS will have how many?
You're probably going to have 20 students in that combined.
Okay.
program.
Any other questions on that one? And finally is the termination of a postmaster's certificate in family nurse practitioner. We've notified THEC that we want to do away with that. We offer a master's degree currently, and that's really what the students are stopping with. They don't really see a need from a workforce standpoint to have a post-certificate master's. And as your notes point out, there's only 3 students currently enrolled. So we'll teach out those students and not admit additional into that certificate.
And remind us, how long ago was that implemented, the postmasters, just generally?
I'm looking to Peter again. When did the postmasters start?
We were part of the TBR collaborative, probably 10 years or more ago.
Okay. So
10
certainly
years or
long
so.
enough that
Yep.
it's clear.
You know, this whole certificate question is an interesting one. We'll be bringing to you in the not too distant future some proposals for certificates that we think there's a demand for among our students. At the same time, though, there are some certificates we've had in the past, like this one, where clearly society has moved on and there's not much demand. So we think, particularly with the new tech companies coming to the Nashville area, there's a possibility of some demand for specialized certificates. And so it's not as if we're, getting rid of every certificate and won't ever have another one, but we're trying to make sure we're offering the right ones. That's what this is all about.
Madam Chair, I'd just like to build on that point because actually 2 weeks past Friday ago, I was invited by the chamber to meet with the executives of Amazon. And they were kind of planning for their move to the Nashville area. And there was express interest in the university, them partnering with our university to develop certificate and educational programs for their 5,000 plus employees. And so I think it's an opportunity for us to get ahead of the curve in this area. Secondly, with regards to the degree termination and the adding of degrees, THEC has annually a productivity report that they put out that lists all of the degrees at institutions that are struggling. And I might add, I'm very proud of it, that we are one of the institutions that have the least amount of degree programs on that list. Is that right, Peter?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to add that Dr. McPhee did not hesitate making MTSU available to Amazon and
That's right, you were at that
expressing
meeting, too.
the opportunity to have a great partnership. So, good job, Dr. McPhee.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, any more questions, discussion?
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that concludes our agenda items, I believe. Is there any other business that any of the committee members wish to bring to the committee? Any other?
I have one item, since this is sports committee. Darrell Freeman Jr. hit 2 home runs this weekend.
Thank you for that.
Right.
3-game series, and he's really excelled this year. And it's, we're all proud of our own children and our friends' children.
Thank
I
you.
thought his head looked bigger than today.
Yep.
I don't know if that could happen. I think it's plenty big.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, any other business? If not, thanks to everyone for being here again, and I really want to thank the staff and the administration for all of the work that goes into these meetings. You make things flow so easily because you give us great materials in advance, so thank you for that, and the meeting is adjourned.